world around us. And I'm your host, Beatriz Caraballo. Today we're going to talk about something that happens behind closed doors and many don't want to admit. Today we're going to talk about domestic violence. On an average, 20 people per minute are victims of domestic violence in the U.S. During 1 year, this equates to 10 million men and women, 1 in 3 women, and 1 in 4 men, by an intimate partner. Approximately 5 million children are exposed to domestic violence every year. Nationally, 50% of abusers who abuse their intimate partners also abuse their children. And today we have a guest that's going to talk about her personal experience and what she's doing now in the community. The mission of Butterfly Effect, United Against Domestic Violence, is to end the silence and intimate domestic violence. It is an organization that is looking to bring peace in the home so there is no more violence. Michelle Matthews is the founder and executive director of the Butterfly Effect. Welcome to the world around us.
Thank you for having me.
I heard you speak and I had to bring you here.
Thank you.
You spoke at a domestic violence group and you were being awarded as well for all the dedication and all the work that you've been doing in the community, helping so many others that are going and have gone through domestic violence. How did you get started in this?
I am a survivor of domestic violence. I was with my abuser for 10 years. And after leaving, I found my purpose. And that was to help other women to get out of their abusive relationships.
When did you start going through domestic violence?
Well, I'll start by saying that I didn't even realize that I was in an abusive relationship until it was the end, which was almost 10 years later. And it was small things like hair pulling, biting, pinching, and isolation. And then it became mental, and the physical didn't really happen until I was like, I'm done, until I was ready to walk away. And I think that's when he lost control.
When he couldn't control you anymore.
Yes.
Were you afraid of it being in that situation?
Initially, I wasn't, because I didn't even know it was domestic violence. So people are naturally taught that when someone hits you, you hit them back.
Mm-hmm.
So I never looked at it as if I was
an abuse.
And it wasn't until the end where he had broken my house once again, and he shoved me up against the wall, and I had a dent in the wall. And he began to give me body blows that I knew, like, this man is going to take my life.
This is
This is going to be the end.
How did it start? What was like the first thing that you could remember? Because see, we always think, oh, it's that he's having a stressful day.
I think people always think that when people are in an abusive relationship, that it just starts as soon as you meet that person, and it doesn't. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. They win you over by, the simple dating, the whining, the dining, the being nice. But I do remember the very first time he was angry at a situation that he was in, and he lashed out at me. And in hindsight, I thought, like, he's just mad. Mm-hmm. And I brushed it
Having
off.
a difficult moment. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I brushed it off.
Because that's what a lot of women do.
Oh, absolutely.
We just, we make excuses for them.
All the time.
All the time. And it's because we're so in love with them.
I think that for me, it was more than just love. It was, I need to help this person. As women, we're nurturers, and we want to make things better and people better, and we want to see the good in people. And I had to learn the hard way that I can't save everybody.
And you can't change everybody. And unfortunately, because it is unfortunate that you went through that, but you learned it.
I did. And it is unfortunate, but looking back, I wouldn't change anything because it's taught me so much about life, about love, about relationships, about
What true
people.
love is.
Absolutely.
Yes. And what a real relationship should look like. Yes. Because once you go through all that, you don't want to go through it again.
You don't want to go through it again, but I think the most important thing for me was to get counseling, to see, to find out why I ended up where I was at, so that I don't end up there again.
Did you feel guilty then?
No.
Not at any point.
I never felt guilty only because I knew it wasn't me. It wasn't me. And I did have to remind myself, and I do remind others, that don't take the blame for somebody else's actions. Because we can't control what somebody else does.
And we do that.
We do.
A lot. And again, it's because we're trying to hide, as usual, the family secrets and the hush-hush, and keep it, what happens here stays here, and the neighbor don't need to know that my husband misbehaves.
But that was part of my reason for wanting to have my organization, is to speak out. Because as a survivor, I wanted to be in silence. I felt like I have to fix this. This is my issue. And he would threaten to do things to my family. So I felt like
that was
if
part
I
of
get
his
them
control.
involved, right? If I get them involved, something's going to happen. And
You really believed him?
In that moment, I did. In that moment, I did. And it was been moments where we would have a confrontation in his car, and he said and I do remember this day when he said, "I will blow your brains out." And at that moment, I had no cares, because I was just done. I was tired of fighting.
Of fighting in the same relationship with him. Was that the scariest moment?
No. I think the scariest moment for me was the day that he was hitting me as if I was a man. Somebody on the streets. Because at that moment I knew that he's lost control.
And he's capable of anything.
He could have killed me.
Right. Did you have a child by him?
I do.
Was he into the abuse? Was he abused?
No, he never put his hands on my children.
Just you?
Just me.
So it was privately in the room?
It was privately when they weren't home, or I tried to make sure my children were in bed when he came home, so that they didn't have to, I guess, witness or just that spirit of evilness. So it was better just to go to bed, house quiet, then I can go to bed.
So you
just
thought?
To keep it. So I thought.
Because even that doesn't calm them down.
It doesn't, because they're already angry when they come in the door. So it doesn't matter. But that was something that I had to learn the hard way.
So does your son or daughter?
My son.
Does your son know?
I haven't had that conversation with my son because he was younger, and I don't think he really remembers. But just recently I had a conversation with my daughter, and she's angry.
Oh, because she's older?
She's older.
So she's seen?
Yeah. She's seen more than I thought she's seen, and she heard more than I thought she heard.
We always think that they don't know.
And they do.
And they know.
They do.
They know. I went through it. I shared that with you. I went through it. And I always thought the kids never knew. And when they told me, I was like, you weren't supposed to know that. What? I thought I shielded them or put them, go sleep, go over there, play with the dog, or go outside, go next door to your friend, whatever. But they know.
They do.
And they know more than what we can imagine.
I think that had I known that she knew when she was younger, I probably would have got her some counseling. Because I think it affects her now as an adult.
In her relationships?
Her relationships, in friendships, personal relationships.
In general.
She's very hard. She's very hard. But I think it has something to do with what she's witnessed me go through.
Did anybody in the family know that you were going through that?
They say they do. They have said that, oh, we tried to talk to you. We tried to tell you. And some of them have said, oh, he's mean, or you need to leave him alone. But it was never, you need to leave, or I'm going to rescue you, or come stay here. It was never anything that I needed. So I probably tuned it out.
Dismissed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if it's not something that's going to help, then kind of tune it out. Do they know now?
They do.
Do they talk to you about it?
They do not.
They don't.
No.
At all?
No.
So they don't know if Michelle's okay or not?
They don't know, but I guess perception is everything. How they perceive me to be now. So they probably think, oh, she's good. I mean, I am good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they think that, like, she's good. And it's not something that people want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Because they probably feel like they failed me along
For not
the
helping.
lines.
For not getting involved. Yeah. I remember my family doing that. Just dismissing the thing. The whole thing, just dismiss it. Because it's not happening. It can't be happening. Because we told you about him. You didn't listen. So it really can't be happening.
Well, that's part of the problem. People tend to think that, well, I've told you
Mm-hmm.
what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't listen, then you deserve it. And that's what you get.
And that's the wrong thing. That's the wrong thing.
Absolutely.
The assuming and the blaming, the guilt blaming, the finger pointing, well, you can get out.
My thought is, walk a mile in my shoes.
Yes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You can never judge somebody for staying, how long they stay, how they leave.
Mm-hmm.
I think people need to get more involved in how can I help you instead of you need to leave.
Mm-hmm. Or in trying to figure out why you stay.
Absolutely. That's not important.
No.
Why I stay.
No.
That's not important.
There was a reason why you stayed?
There are a lot of reasons why I stayed. One reason is that was my house.
Mm.
I'm not leaving my home.
Mm.
And another reason would be, where is he going to go? I felt like I'm all he has, so where is he going to go? If I put him out, I'm going to feel the wrath later.
Mm. You didn't want to hurt him at all.
No.
Regardless
But
what
I don't
he
know
did.
if he would be hurt or if he would be angry.
Okay.
Because
Gotcha.
you don't tell me what to do.
Gotcha.
That whole persona that I'm this fierce person and you don't tell me what I can and cannot do.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell that he was like that? You couldn't tell. But did other people, could they tell that he was like that?
No.
See?
He could walk in this door today and you would have no clue.
They're dressed up in, listen, they're dressed up in business suits.
They are police
Okay.
officers. They are doctors. They are lawyers.
Surgeons. You don't know.
You
You don't know what happens behind closed doors. You can't assume that, oh, he's this $1 million person, or he, carries himself this way, or he has this car, or they live in this house. You never know. And too many people assume, and too many women end up dead.
I think too many people assume that it won't be me, or it's not me.
Right.
I have encountered so many women that it's hard to formulate when you have a conversation with people and they don't even realize that they're in an abusive relationship.
Yes.
And it may not be physical.
Mhm.
It's simply mental and emotional.
And that's abuse.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does. You don't need a black eye to say it's abuse.
You don't.
Domestic abuse could be mentally, physically,
And emotional.
emotionally.
Financial.
Absolutely. It could be any of that kind of abuse. It doesn't mean that you're injured all the time. And most of them will hit you and you won't have any marks. So
I
how do
think
you
the
tell?
emotional and the mental
It's worse.
is worse than the physical.
Mhm. Did you carry that for a long time?
The mental,
Yes.
I don't think it ever really goes away.
Mm.
I don't think it ever goes away.
That's the hardest part
It is. It is.
because it plays with your mind and how you think and how you do things.
It affects your daily routine.
Mm-hmm.
It affects your everyday life.
Do you still think that way?
No. Sometimes, and it just happened to me this morning. It was just a flashback of something they say, and it's
So
a
still
trigger.
to today,
Mhm.
you get those triggers.
Mhm.
And it could be anything.
For me, it's little things. It could be a car,
Okay.
a certain car that rides by, but it's not all the time.
Mm.
It's almost like it catches you off guard, and you're in that moment. And
Mm-hmm.
you shake it off, and you're like, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even letting him go was when I was in counseling. We had a box, and it said, "Let go and let God." And I put his name in that box, and I
Oh.
prayed, and I said, "Please, God, please do not bring this man back until I'm strong enough to have to handle him."
Okay.
And it was maybe like 5 years later when I came encounter with him.
And how was that?
In the moment,
Scary?
I didn't even know he was there, but my heart raced when I seen him. But then I
Oh,
realized,
fear.
you're good. Yeah, you're good.
Mm.
You're good. But I knew that was going to be my last time when I was in front of my grandparents' house, and I simply looked at him and said, "I'm done. I have no more fight left. I'm done." And when he pulled away that day, I never seen him again.
So he doesn't see your son.
No,
Do you want him to?
no.
Oh, you don't? Why?
I don't want my son to be like that. I don't want him to be an abuser,
Okay.
a manipulator.
Mm-hmm. You don't want him to learn that behavior.
No.
Right.
No,
And he probably lives that way.
I'm sure he does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he does. I would want him to have, if I knew that his father was a decent person,
Mm-hmm.
then I would absolutely encourage him to have a relationship with his father. Now that he's 18, he's more than welcome to, but you have to be cautious
Have you told him
about the relationship.
that he could do that? That he can reach
Oh,
out to his father?
Absolutely.
Does he want to?
He did.
Did.
He did. His sister took him to see his father a
Oh.
few years ago, and it wasn't what he thought it would be.
Mm.
So you move on.
So she wanted him to see.
He asked me to see him, and I told him, okay, I'll reach out. I will make the attempt to reach out. But then he kept making excuses why I shouldn't reach out. So I waited because this is on his terms, not on my terms.
Right.
I needed him to be comfortable enough to
Mhm.
say, I'm ready.
Right.
And they went behind my back and took him to see his
Oh, I
father.
know you must have been. Woo!
I was hot, but I was even more hurt.
Were you scared?
I wasn't scared because I knew he wasn't going to do anything to my children. I was more hurt because I needed to make sure that as a mother, my kids are good.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to prepare him for what might happen. Because you might want to see this person and you come encounter with this person, but is he going to be receptive to what you want?
True.
And I needed to prepare him before he made that.
They didn't give you time.
They didn't give me no time.
I think maybe she wanted him to catch him that way, catch him off guard, so he could see for himself what he is.
I think for her was, my brother wants to see his dad, and I'm going to just make it happen. Without what can
The
happen.
comfort zone.
Right. What's
Yeah.
going to happen afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to meet him, but
Yeah.
what's going to happen afterwards?
Yeah. Has he kept in contact with
No, he has not.
At all?
That's why I did not want him to meet his father. No.
him? The father doesn't reach out.
No.
Call him.
No.
Write to him. Nothing. And Quince is okay with that.
In the beginning, I think he wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tell when your children are in turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to tell her, text his father, and let him know to call him on his birthday.
To reach out.
To reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Only because I didn't want my son to be disappointed. Because I know as a child he's waiting for that.
Mm-hmm.
He's waiting.
Mm-hmm. And what happened to mommy is totally separate from what happens between him and daddy.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm asking her these questions because one is I've been very blessed that Michelle is very open anytime I ask her anything. And and second is I want you to hear the things that might be even happening to you at your home, inside your home, and you're thinking, nah, I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. No, he's not doing that. I'm just making stuff up. You're not making stuff up. Trust me, you're not. It's happening. Little things, as she said, they start little, and it could be that he isolates you from your family, from your friends. He starts complaining about how much time you're with mommy or daddy or your sister, or you're going out again shopping with your friends, really? Or who's on your phone and he's checking your phone, and you're thinking, well, he has access to my phone. I ain't hiding anything. Really? Is he just that he's curious, or is it that he's curious and he's going to start up something?
Because he's afraid of what's going to happen if you just step out just a little bit,
Right.
without him.
Because they live in the constant fear that you're going to tell someone and expose him for who he is.
Which is okay.
It's okay for the victim,
Absolutely.
but not for him.
Not for him.
Right.
But
So
I think
he
that's
has
the
to
most
control.
important thing. Like, we cannot continue to live our lives based on how somebody else is going to feel.
Right.
We have to live for us and our children. If I had stayed, would he have killed me? I don't know. But the thought of not being able to raise my children, and someone else to have to raise my children, and to never have seen my grandson being born, that is more painful than anything.
Exactly.
Anything.
Exactly. And you have a beautiful family.
Thank you.
A beautiful grandson.
Thank you.
He's too much.
That's my baby.
We have to put him in there.
Yes. That's my baby.
Does your daughter go through this kind of violence?
She
Any
doesn't.
kind of violence?
No.
Because she learned.
She did learn. And I think that when, no relationship is ever perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do find that perfect person for you without being hurt, or made to be a victim, or to be belittled, you have to kind of, what is the word I want to use? You always have to have boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's certain things that you're going to tolerate, that you won't tolerate.
Mm-hmm.
And never second guess what your boundaries are.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. And I even encourage people that have left their abusive relationship and that are ready to date, that you have to have boundaries.
You had to learn that.
I had to.
Did you learn that in counseling?
I did. Because the moment you give somebody more power,
Mm-hmm.
they take it.
Did immediately after you left the relationship, is that how you started counseling, or you started before?
I started before.
Before you left them?
I did.
So you were preparing yourself?
I was sneaky to go to counseling.
Oh, he didn't know?
No. Once a
Oh,
week.
because he would have stopped you.
Probably. He probably would have tried.
Are you okay with seeing him again ever?
I am.
You feel strong now?
I am. Uh-huh.
I tell you, her strength just keeps keeps shocking me because I thought she was going to say something else.
You thought I was gonna say no?
Yeah, she
No.
shocked me again. She just keeps shocking me.
No.
I'm so proud of her, I'm telling you guys. And her strength, we're going to be right back. So don't go nowhere. We're going to keep talking with her. Welcome back to The World Around Us. We're here with Michelle Matthews from the Butterfly Effect, which is an organization against domestic violence. And we were talking about your strength and how much I admire that, because it has brought you from where you were all the way to now to what you're doing for other women. Every time you speak at a different conference, I've been very fortunate to be in a few,
Thank you.
and so proud of you.
Thank you.
Girl. How do you feel about doing all that?
I feel empowered.
Mm.
I feel like if I could do this every day, I would. I think the most stressful part of it is not being able to save everybody.
That's a big goal,
It is.
because you want to save everybody.
I do.
But you got to do one at a time.
I'll take one at a time,
Mm.
but the reward of just saving someone, because I know how painful it is to live with somebody who's just mean,
Mm.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
mean spirit, just mean in general.
Mhm.
And I know what it feels like to be able to laugh and to have fun and to not have to
Be
look
free.
over your shoulder and
Yes.
yet be free.
Yes.
Be free.
That's exactly what it is being free. Not just, I say this a lot, not just existing, but living.
Yes.
And you're living. Are you in a relationship now?
I am.
Better?
Absolutely. I don't think anyone wants to come head to head with that anymore.
Were you fearful of getting into another relationship?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
See, I know I would be.
No. And I wasn't, only because I really, really believe in love. I really, really. So whether it's ending a relationship that just went sour, to the whole domestic violence, I just feel like everybody has that person. And everybody deserves to be happy with that person.
And that person is out there.
For somebody.
Yes, that's true. It's just fearful in the sense that you don't know, because as you said in the beginning, they don't show you their true color in the beginning. And in the beginning, oh my God, everything's just wonderful. It's roses. It smells great.
I think that's where boundaries come in.
Mhm.
That's where, when your gut instinct tells you something, listen. And even if you don't listen at that instinct, pay attention.
Did you have to do that with this relationship at all?
I don't even know if it's that I had to or you just do. It's just a part of
becomes an instinct.
It is.
Mhm.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Is he supportive of this organization?
He is. He is. And I sometimes worry, like, oh, I don't want people to think it's him because it's not him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, when you do speaking engagements, you know, there's been many a times when he's there,
Mm-hmm.
and people are like, afterwards, they've come to me like, you know, people thought it was, and it's not him. It's not him.
He wouldn't be sitting in the audience.
Absolutely not.
I don't think Michelle would invite that.
No. But I do encourage people to love them first. You cannot love somebody else if you don't love you.
Mhm.
And that's very important.
Are you still focused on helping the partner? Meaning, you said that you were worried about him all the time. It was all about him.
Well, I was worried about him in the sense that I was all he had. So if I put him out, where is he going to go?
Right.
No, my focus is on me.
Mm-hmm.
Me. What's going to make me happy? And yeah, it might sound a little selfish, but it's okay to be selfish when it comes to you. It's okay to say that I'm not going to tolerate.
Well, when it comes to
certain
your
things.
life.
Absolutely.
Yes. Because those boundaries should help you to survive.
They will.
If you put them up and you put the right boundaries up. You can't shut everybody out.
No, you can't. But it all goes back to being open to counseling, being open to telling your story, be open to telling people what's going on in your house. Because people can't help you if they don't know. And I think that's one of the other things that I try to promote with my organization is if I knew you were in an abusive relationship, how can I help you? But I might have to help you on the back end opposed to the front end because you're not ready. So when you're ready, let's set some things up so that when you're ready to go, you're in position to go.
What do they have to set up?
You could set up a bank account in your name for them.
A separate.
Because they might only get a $10 allowance a week. And they want to put $5 in that account. And it may take them a little time to get to where they need to be.
Because a lot of women are in the relationship because of the finances. And they stay there. So if they can have something to the side, that would make it so much easier for them.
Telling someone to run is so easy.
Mm.
But what does it look like after they run? And where are you going to be? How are you going to be on that front line when they run?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's important.
And you are on the front line with them. Are you ever scared of doing that? Because I know that you help women right in their moment.
Right in their moment where they're safe. I can't say that I'm fearful. I think that my fear is more for them and their safety. Because there is always that what if, and I know for me that fear of running, I know I've had many a times where I've just ran and sat in front of the police station.
And
because I knew I didn't go in because I knew he wasn't going to come to the police station. He's not going to come there. So that was my safe haven at that moment. I'll go sit in front of the police station because you're not going to come here and bother me. But he would sit a block. He had sat a block over and waited for me to leave until he got, I guess, tired of waiting. Absolutely.
I tell you, when they are determined, woo, great.
We have to be even more determined.
And you have to keep a few steps ahead of them. Because it's almost as if they know what you're planning before you even plan it. It's almost like they have this instinct. Oh, she's about to leave me. I gotta do this or I gotta do this. And they constantly block you from leaving. They constantly figure out ways to block you.
But that's why it's important to tell people what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
They could maybe have a spare keys at their house for your car or for your home. Make copies of birth certificates. Just certain things that when I'm ready to go, I got a bag for you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go.
Excellent.
Let's go.
And I know that Michelle is, I can't say she's crazy, but
No.
Michelle is out there. She will see an article. She will hear a report on the news. She will text me, and and say, I'm going to go find this person and go talk to them, and I'm going to go help them. And I'm like, what? Wait, it's the middle of the night. You can't do that. And she will stay determined at it until she figures out where this lady's at, what does she need, and how can she help? And she figures it out. And I'm like, girl, I'm going back to sleep.
I think that's another important thing that you brought up. The media, media. When they post, oh, it was a murder suicide.
Oh, those are horrible.
It's horrible, but it's horrible to hear that they call it a murder suicide when it's domestic violence. He didn't wake up today and do what he did, or she didn't wake up and do what she did. This is something that has been ongoing in their home for a long time, a little bit of time, but it is domestic violence.
Like the couple around your neighborhood, there was an African American couple, and then there was a Dominican couple, and he had been abusing her and the kids for a while. And what was sad was that apparently she had been trying to leave, and that's what triggered him to kill her. And then he went in the woods and killed himself. And I was like, what?
It's very disheartening.
Yes.
And it shows no respect for the victim. Call it what it is.
It was domestic
It
violence.
was domestic
It
violence.
was.
Call it what it is. The media needs to get it right.
And the law enforcement, back then law enforcement didn't know how to work with a domestic violence.
I have done training with a police station in a neighboring town, and the one thing that I told them or tried to teach them was that whether you walk into a victim's house once or 20 times, treat them like it's the first time. Because that 20th time could be their time to say, I'm ready to go. But it has to be on our terms. It's not on your terms.
And they could be the one to help them out of that situation. Because it's safer if law enforcement helps. Do you think?
It is safer, but imagine an officer coming into your home, because they've came into my home.
You've called?
No, my child has called. One of my daughter had called at one point, and one point my sister called. But you're so terrified in that moment that you want to say what's going on, but on the other end, what's going to happen when you leave? And he comes back. Is he going to come back? Because he never stayed on premises when the
cops were there. Yeah, but it's like they make a U-turn and come right back after they're gone. Right after they're gone. My sister's husband continuously did that. She would call the police, or one of her kids would call the police, and he would disappear. I'm thinking, where did he go that fast? He was just here. And you would think he went far. He didn't go far. He's watching exactly what the cops are doing. He could be right across the street with the rest of the neighbors acting like, what? Oh, what's happening? And and then they leave, and he's back.
Yep.
And then you have to face this whole storm again.
We got to go through this all over again. And at that point, if the police are called again, now they're upset that they had to come back, or do they come back? Sometimes you hear that they don't come back, or it took them even longer to come back.
And that length of time is what could cost that lady
to lose her life.
Exactly. And that's what has happened too many times.
Too many times.
Should they, if they're trying to get out, should they contact a counselor? Can a counselor help them leave?
A counselor can help them leave. I think the most important thing is to tell somebody. Like, you're already a victim, and he's keeping you isolated. You have to tell somebody what's going on so they can help you. And it might be financial. It might be, hey, we can relocate you. It could be anything. Counseling changes your mindset. And it helps you to realize this is not my fault. I've seen many lives being changed because they simply went through counseling to say that they're no more.
Is domestic violence something that your organization can stop or just help to prevent? Big one.
That is a big one. I would like to say both.
Mm.
Both in the sense that I was a victim, I am a survivor.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what it looks like firsthand to be in it. And I also know what it looks like afterwards. And they're both terrifying experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a community.
Yes.
It
Can't
takes
do
a
it
community.
alone.
You can't do it by yourself.
Can't do it alone. There's someone on Facebook now, which I haven't shared with you, and she has a child with autism and another child with, if I'm not mistaken, ADHD.
Mhm.
And she just left her abusive husband because they were married. And she feels very alone because she had all these people that said, I'm going to be with you when you leave. And then when she left, where are they?
Find a support group. Find a support group. So now you have to find a support group because you're now a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
You were a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And what does life look like now for me? But it can't be determined without help.
Right. Right. Because you need to have the resources and you need to know where the resources are.
Resources and I mean, I didn't even tell my friends that I was in an abusive relationship.
Absolutely nobody. Was it that you were embarrassed of saying it? Was it a thing of my reputation?
No, because at this point I didn't even have any friends. It was just me.
Mm.
It was just me. I have lost friends. I have regained friends with people, and I had to in the process of
Well, now you have
friends,
better friends.
I do, but even in the process of explaining to people that I was friends with and I'm now friends with again, that I went through something,
Mm-hmm.
and it was traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are pushy. They want me to do this or they want me to do that.
Mm.
It's not on your terms.
Mm-mm.
This is on my terms.
Mm-hmm.
And if I choose not to do something, I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's because they don't understand. It's not, you leave your abuser and you wake up and it's this sunny day. It's not.
No.
It's not. It was.
And you need that support in the middle of the night when it's almost like a funeral, because in the middle of the night when everybody's gone, that's when you're crying, that's when you're falling apart, that's when you need more support. That's when you need someone to just sit there with you or talk to you or text you.
It's that moment that nobody says, what do you need? What do you need? Because, oh, he's gone. She's
Yeah.
good.
And
You should be okay.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't work that
it
way.
doesn't work.
I mean, I have had many a days where I simply laid in bed and cried.
Mm.
There were days where I felt like sweatpants and a t-shirt was it.
Mm-hmm.
That was just it. Because that's where my headspace was. Until I started to live and say, this is not who I am. I'm done crying. Who am I? What am I mourning?
Mm-hmm.
What am I mourning? I've heard people say that I want to be who I used to be. Well, I don't, because who I used to be got me where I was at. So let's
Good
see
one.
the new me.
Good one.
Let's
Improve that.
Yes,
Improve
absolutely.
that.
Yes.
Give that 100% Superwoman. Yes, absolutely. What are you doing now in the organization? Are you doing the speaking engagement still?
I am.
So if someone calls you to come out to a high school, to
I will come
a
out
church,
I will come to speak anywhere you need me to be to talk about domestic violence, what it looks like, how to help a victim, families that are just in it,
mm-hmm.
that say, hey, how can I help my daughter or my son get out? What can I do?
Are you one of the resources where they can call?
I am, and I will provide resources and information and shelters, and it's not a process that you go through by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hold your hand until we get to the finish line.
And they do get there.
They do.
They do.
They do.
It's a long process. It's a scary process. 'Cause, we can't put frosting on this.
No.
It's a scary process because you're trying to regain your life again, and you're trying to build you again.
I think it's even harder when you have children
Oh,
because it's not just my life. It's my life, their life. They come first.
mm-hmm.
I always tell people if it's a matter of if a train is coming, and I ask you, if a train is coming, who are you going to save, you or your babies?
Who you think I'm gonna run
Who you
for?
gonna
My
save?
kids.
You got to save you.
My kids.
I'm saving me so that I can pull my babies to safety, and we're all going to live.
Good one. You got me on that.
I did.
But,
But that's the most important
but that's the
thing.
first thing that comes out.
Absolutely, that is.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
if
your
I
first
save
reaction.
them, what happens to me? They
Yeah.
can't pull me to safety.
Mhm.
I have to pull them to safety.
Mm-hmm. That's your first reaction as
It
a
is.
mom. As a
It-
grandmom, that's your first reaction.
It is to save
Mhm.
my kids, but I'm going to save me so I can save them.
See, you lesson learned. She's always keeping me on my toes, even when I'm asking her something.
But it's important. I don't think that people. I think people think that when you wake up every morning, it's great. Or people look at people's social media and they're living their best life. You have
Oh.
no idea what people are going through in their home. Never
All that
compare
social
yourself.
media, and you have no idea who's the real one and who's
You
not.
don't.
Stop dating on social media.
Stop
That is
pretending on
scary.
social media.
That is too scary right now.
Dating on social media?
I don't know if I could do that. No, I don't know. You don't know who's who.
You don't know who the man is in the supermarket either, but you would date him. I'm just saying.
Michelle.
I'm just saying.
I don't swim with sharks. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
No. All right? Okay. She's always trying to get me on those. No. Not happening.
I'm just saying that people portray life to be blissful
And
on
it's
social
not.
media, and it's not.
It's
so
not.
never compare yourself
No.
to somebody. Compare your relationship to somebody else.
I hate hearing, I wish I had her life. Do you really?
Because you have no idea what she's going through.
Exactly. Exactly. How young was the youngest victim that you've worked with? Because, see, people think it's just for the older people
Right.
that this happens, older like 20s, 25s and stuff like that.
I
But young
believe she was
kids,
about
too.
18.
Same
And
young
she had
kids.
2 children. And the night before, he strangled her until she passed out. And she knew that next morning she had to leave. And she said that when he went into where he went, she had went with him. But she said she ran down the street with her babies in her arms.
Oh my God, that must have been scary.
It's scary in the sense that our babies are in situations that us as adults can't even handle.
Exactly.
So how do we possibly think that children can handle this? And yes, she's still a child. At 18, she's
Absolutely.
still a child.
They're in high school and they're going through this abuse while they're dating in high school. High school.
Middle
Yeah.
school.
Middle school.
Middle
Oh
school.
man. Yes.
Middle school.
Yes. And if we don't know how to handle it, can you imagine them?
Because I think that I find that there are so many young parents
Mm-hmm.
that they forget about their children.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're not checking.
They're
their
too
phones,
busy.
Or checking to see, or we're just working.
Mm-hmm.
We're working to pay bills, and
Yeah.
our children are raising themselves almost.
Yeah. And that's sad.
Mhm.
What's a number that they can contact you if they need to contact you?
My number is 609-724-5598.
One more time.
609-724-5598.
If you need to get any answers, any information, resources, if you are in the middle of, that he's coming and that storm is about to blow and you want to get out before that storm hits, call Michelle and she will find the resources you need to get out, to plan things so that you can get out. I think that if you plan it ahead of time and you have,
It's called a safety plan.
absolutely, you have your bank account, separate bank account. And like she said, you don't have to put a whole lot of money in there.
You don't.
Start, I don't know, $5, $1, whatever you got. Start putting it away in this bank account. Get your documents. And I'm going to talk to the immigrants out here that you think, well, you know, he's holding my resident card, my visa, and my passport, and I can't get it from him. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. There are resources, legal resources out here that will force him to give you your documents. And even if you don't have your documents, if you have to leave, you need to leave. You do not have to stay there because he won't give you your documents. Se te tiene que ir hoy, te vas hoy. Olvídate de los documentos, olvídate de la visa, olvídate de la tarjeta verde y todo eso. Salte de la violencia doméstica. Salte. No tienes que vivir ahí. You do not have to stay in that relationship. It's important to keep that number that Michelle gave you. And if you need anything, you need resources, information, you need to just pass something through her to see if maybe, am I doing something that I shouldn't be doing, or should I be doing something and I'm missing it?
How can I help my sister? How can I help my brother? How can I help my cousin? How
Exactly.
can I not sit in a family circle and talk about them? Instead, we need to find resources to help them.
Exactly. Instead of gossiping about the sister, cousin, that all of a sudden she walks in and all of a sudden she becomes the gossip. Because you know she's in a violent relationship, and instead of helping her, you now prefer that she's the gossip of the party, the rumor of the party. No. Find a way to help her. Find a way to get her out of that relationship. That's better. That's much
Absolutely.
more productive than tearing down people.
But sometimes I think people just don't know. And
But
I
if
think
you
that-
know,
just don't know what to do.
oh, yes,
So if you don't know what to do, that's where I'm here.
yes,
Um,
absolutely,
and it's just little things. It's
absolutely.
little things that you can do. I think people don't even realize in New Jersey you can break your lease if you're in an abusive relationship.
There you go.
You can take time off of work, for
Mhm.
court,
Mhm.
for an abusive relationship. Tell your doctor.
Mhm.
Tell your doctor.
Mhm.
And if one person doesn't listen, tell somebody else.
Mhm.
Tell anybody that's going to listen. Do not allow anyone to keep you silent forever.
Exactly. Thank you for coming to the world
Thank
around
you for
us.
having me.
I'm so glad that you came and shared all that information, and that you shared your phone number. Don't forget her phone number. It's very important for you to keep it. And if you want to get out and you need help, you need the resources, contact Michelle Matthews.